Well, good morning, everybody. My name is David McLeod. I am here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and today I'm with my good buddy and my partner, Tommy Stoffel. We are here to celebrate. We are here to have a hell of a lot of fun today. Tommy and I have done 51 episodes up till now, and today represents our 52nd episode. So we are just in a party mood. So it's going to be a Soul Talk Guys kind of party. And we got a whole bunch of cool guests here with us today. We're just going to have a blast. So I hope you enjoy. And I'll just remind everybody, if you have questions or comments or whatever, please post them in the chat box. We'll do our best to answer them. But it's going to be kind of chaotic, and who knows what's going to happen, but we're going to have fun. Hey, Tommy, welcome aboard, bro. Good to see you.
Hey, David, thanks a lot. And hello, everybody out there and wherever you are in the world. Yeah, 51 episodes. We've been doing this for a year, and it just gets more fun every day. You know, when we're done talking, David and I, we hit the pause button or hit the stop recording button, and we just look at each other and we smile. And I go, that was fun, man. That's good. We're just doing good things and talking good stuff and helping people hopefully out there. And today, time to celebrate, because we have, as people are coming on the call, I'm like, look, all my favorite people on the planet are here, and this is fantastic. So we're here to celebrate, and we're here for everyone to kind of talk about what they're excited about and what they're celebrating. So let's kick that off. David, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this or just what,
well,
you know,
first off, I want to welcome all of our guests here, just so people know who we've got. I'm going to just kind of shift the camera from left to right so people can see who's here, and I'll just bring their faces in. So first up is Kevin Christopher, who sometimes goes by the name of Akesh. Next to him, I have Audra Irwin, the High on Life coach, and she's a pretty amazing woman, and you're going to get a lot of great wisdom from her today. Next to her is my good buddy, my friend, and fellow warrior brother, Chris Kyle. Welcome, Chris. Good to see you on the show today.
Hey, great to be here.
Next to Chris is another very good friend, Joanne Roderman's been on the show a couple of times, the lady who is the expert on forgiveness and gratitude, and just somebody with a huge loving heart and just a wonderful presence. So thank you for being here, Joanne.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, and next to her is the beautiful Junie Moon Schreiber, another shadow work coach, and a lady who does a lot of work with a lot of amazing people. She's from the East Coast, and you'll find out more about her as we get along. And next we have Kristen Richardson, a psychotherapist and psychologist who's actually working directly with Gary Zukov. I mean, that's pretty cool. She's a pretty amazing person, as you're going to discover. Next we have Sarah Jane, who is the host and creator of the webinar series called Gift of Healing TV. And that, I understand, is going really well. So these are the people who have chosen to be here today, and we're just going to have a lot of fun talking with each other. And I guess what I'd like to do is just open it up and see who is willing to speak first. What is it that you are celebrating right now that is really important in your life? What's uppermost in your life right now? Is anybody feeling the energy to answer that question?
I am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. I want to say that I'll try. Actually, I'm discovering I'm having trouble talking as I'm thinking about saying this, speaking this. I'm celebrating several things right now. One is this past April the 2nd, my husband and I celebrated 48 years together, and that's a big deal. 48 years together, and we're happier now than we've ever been. Life is great. Life is awesome. And today, and this is why I had to do some clearing before I could say yes to being here. Today, my husband is 80 years old.
Wow.
And he's healthy and happy and strong, and just does a lot of volunteering and everything. And had some plans. We're still doing stuff, but we had some different plans for today. And I'll be 72 in August, and I'm just, life is good. Life is being good.
That's awesome,
I'm loving it.
Yeah. Who would like to go next? Who's celebrating? All right, I'm going to put you on the spot then. Audra, go ahead. Share with us what you're celebrating this year, the past year.
For the past year, I've been celebrating finally taking
ownership of my value. You know, as mentors and coaches and leaders, you know, they say you teach what you most need to learn, and my whole thing has been about acceptance and self-acceptance and letting go of the need for approval and all those things. And after 43 years, I can honestly say that I have finally let go of my need for my father's approval. And so I know that's not a celebration like Joanne was sharing, but it is a freaking big celebration. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, that's awesome, Audra, and I think, you know, all of us, to one degree or another, are doing that same work, so thank you for bringing that up. You know, a celebration doesn't have to be like a super major milestone or anything. Something that's important to you, that's what I want to hear, and so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
I mean, what's it like for you to have that, knowing now that you have given that up and that you're accepting your own value?
Yeah, well, I always knew I was great at what I did, but, like, you know, there was that underlying chatter of, but really, you know? And what I realized was that was linked to my dad, my childhood stuff, you know, all the stuff, you know, my baggage and all of that we all have carrying around still, those residual parts of us that aren't healed that we continually are working on. And I really thought it's so wild because you think, oh, I've got this, and it's done, but there's that residual part that plays out unconsciously. And I won't go into the details, but basically it's just this knowing. You finally come to a place one day where something happens and you're like, I don't need it anymore. And so anyway, that's kind of what happened for me. It was just like really acknowledging that you can literally feel an energetic shift in your body, like physiologically. It's like releases. So.
Well, awesome. Thank you. That's a great share. I really appreciate it. Kristen, how about you?
Yeah, mine is actually really similar to hers, so that's exciting for me to share next, because I would say for me it's also the same, just learning to just relax. I've been working this last year on just relax, because when I'm wanting that approval, which my parents also were the first trigger of that fear in me wanting that approval, is I get like tense and I'm not just relaxed like when I speak. I'm kind of monitoring what I'm saying and making sure that it sounds okay and just thinking way too much. So I'm working also on just relax and let my soul shine through and really connect energetically with my soul and what I'm saying and the people that I'm talking with, like you guys, just to relax and connect and not be so fear-based. So that's really similar, you know, to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, Kristen, thanks for sharing that too, because you're actually just leading into what we're going to be talking about next week, and that's the shining part, shining on, because there's a lot of us coming to this clearing phase. We're kind of coming out of the hard part, that we've learned our lessons, and now we're stepping up into our place. And that's, Audra, that's what I'm hearing you saying too, that I am valuable and I need to stand up, relax, stand up, do our job. And thanks for sharing that, both of you.
Yeah, thank you. So Kevin, what have you been celebrating? What do you want to celebrate today about what's happened over the last year for you?
Yeah, I reflected on that, and I think what comes up for me is independence, and I guess what's beginning to feel to me like manhood, you know. And for the longest time, it just seemed like it was just taking forever to sort of come into myself, and I feel like I'm getting there now. You know, I faced a lot of fears over the last year. I faced a lot of things that I thought were limitations on myself, or things that I didn't want to do for the longest time, and just through kind of throwing myself into that fire, I came out realizing that I was so much stronger than I thought I was. So I'm celebrating that strength. Like I'm far more capable and far more able than I even know. So.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Thank you.
Hey, Kevin, was there something specific that you also let go of along the way? Were there things you kind of said you overcame some fears, that you feel like you let go of some weight along the way?
Oh man, I don't know if it's something so much that I let go, but I think someone else mentioned taking responsibility, you know?
Yeah.
And I was at this point in my life where I had to just take a hard look at where I was and where I wanted to be. And I realized, you know, if it's to be, it's up to me, to take a quote from Peter Wagner. You know, if I want to create the life I want, I've got to, you know, I've got to bite a few bullets, and I've got to maybe feel some pain, you know. There's another quote that goes with that, which is, if you always do what's easy, life becomes hard. But if you do what's hard, life becomes easy. And, you know, this past year I've been facing some of those things that I thought were hard and I was sort of avoiding. But by just like throwing myself in there and getting that pain sloshing around in my gut and that fear, it's like, you know, it's like throwing metal into a forge. It tempers me. It makes me stronger, sharper, you know. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. How about you, Sarah Jane? What are you celebrating now? What would you like to share with us?
Well, in respect of letting go, June, July last year, I'd been running a newsletter for 10 years, and I realised that it actually wasn't achieving what I'd set out for it to achieve. And so I let it go. And at the same time, I was watching you guys, Life Matters TV, so I may not get on live every week, but I think I've seen all but one or two because there were glitches with them, other than the one I was on. And, and so I let go of the newsletter, and then suddenly it was, but I need to do something else. I know I'm here to help people share. And the idea of this came up. And it was just like, great, I'm going to do this. So I think I did send you an email saying, hope you don't mind, but because you were part of that catalyst. Mm-hmm. So your celebration tonight, and you helped me to do this. My sister, as I've sort of mentioned, had signed up to the technology that you're using and had told me I could use it. And it's gone from strength to strength ever since. It really has. But not only that, I literally this afternoon got a phone call from a lady I'd met at a fair, I think it was last October, up in Cheltenham. And she'd had one of my sort of mini sound baths. She'd experienced me toning her name. And I had a half-hour conversation with her today. She was saying, thank you for what you did. Your CD's been amazing. And her reaction to that was, and she said, but you're so real, you're so authentic. You're so relaxed with what you do because, yes, sort of like the others have mentioned, I've let go of worrying about what other people think. And the most important thing to do is be true to yourself. It's also trusting that with the gift of healing TV, as I'm sure you've done with Life Matters, it's, do you know what? Get started. You have technology, you have the ideas. Don't wait to put everything in place. Just have enough in place to get started, and it'll work. And that's exactly what's happened. It's working in spite of the fact, to a certain degree, I still haven't got everything in place, but it's getting there.
Yeah, that's really awesome, Sarah. I know that I think all of us probably have the same challenge, and that is, I'll speak for myself. I always feel like I'm in a place of getting ready. And I always believe in my mind I'm not quite ready yet. Do you guys have that? Does anybody else have that?
Yes.
And I think you're right, Sarah. Sometimes you just gotta do it. And that's where the whole Nike thing. Just do it, and you'll get ready as you go along. You'll eventually be ready for what you already did.
Yes.
Exactly.
So how about you, Chris? I see you're muted at the moment.
No, I am off mute. Well, first of all, I just want to say it's so great to be here with all of you. I actually don't know any of you, so it's just so sweet.
Wait, you know me, dude.
Well, you, of course, the hosts, Tommy and you. So it's great to hear you all speak about your life and celebration. So I'm happy to be here with you. What I'm celebrating this year, over this last year, is really two things. Is really celebrating community, really feeling more and more how I'm allowing more of the support from community, from my friends, from colleagues, from my dance community, all that I'm just really celebrating how rich and full my life is in terms of the people around me and the community that I have. And then the deeper piece of that is really trusting to lean into that community, trusting to get the kind of support that in the past maybe I haven't really asked for or trusted. So the second piece of that is this: I'm celebrating that I'm relaxing and trusting more in terms of who's there to support me, and also what is unfolding as it should in terms of my life and my business and who I'm working with and all that. So there's a lot more trust, and I'm really seeing that and feeling that, and that actually relaxes me and opens me up for more, more and better to come, if you will, or the right lessons, to come as well, the challenges and the difficulties that forge the jewels of who I am, more of the jewels of my life. So I'm feeling very excited and inspired. A lot of work this year, a lot of challenges, but it's all been beautiful. So thanks.
Yeah, Chris, thanks so much for sharing too. And the whole thing about community is, I'm sitting here and I'm just smiling. I could not say anything and just sit and smile the whole show, because this is this connection, right? And even through the web, we can have this connection. And it's so empowering to me to know that there's other people like me doing what I'm doing too. I'm not alone. I'm not the lone wolf out here, trying to wave the flag or carry the torch. That we're all doing it together, and we're all coming to the same place together. Hear what we're all saying, right? We're all letting go of this needing for acceptance, because that's one of the big anchors that holds us back. And we're just standing up and we're saying, "Here, you know what, world? Here I am. I'm ready to shine. Let's get to it." And thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Oh, David's on mute.
David, you're on mute, buddy.
You're on mute, buddy.
Oh.
Now
Still on mute. Tommy, I think.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, Tommy, you roll.
Yeah, you're up, Tommy.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. So, Chris, I wanted to say, I know you, for the last little while, I think it's about a year now, you've been doing this whole Man on Purpose program. And has it been a year? Has it been longer than a year? I know that it's been a pretty significant time anyway.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. We launched the Power of Purpose Global Summit a couple years ago, and then 2 years of the Man on Purpose Summit, Man on Purpose course. So it's been really beautiful and rich, and we're about to launch the third year of it in May. So very excited.
That's something to celebrate.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's been a beautiful journey of this purpose work with men particularly, and really, really deeply enjoyed it and been moved by some of the men. There's one man, in fact, who was from Mexico City who was in the course last year. His name is Jaime, and he's now on fire. He's the president of a nonprofit. In fact, David, you'll like this. You don't even know this, is that the Mexico Mankind Project International's Mexico community, the whole country, has just launched, and Jaime's the president of the nonprofit that's in Mexico, and that came out of the course, his desire to really step into more of his power there. So really, really beautiful to see some amazing men step into their power and to their purpose.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, I mean, that's fantastic, Chris. And I mean, what that speaks to is we all have a calling. We all have something that we love to do, and we just never know how the people who are touched by us are going to start showing up. I mean, that is worth celebrating right there.
Yeah.
If each of us only had one success like that, imagine what our lives would be like. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
How about you, Junie Moon? What would you like to share with us about your celebration for the last year?
Well, firstly, my head is spinning with all the different comments that have happened here so far. It's just, wow, there's just such a richness here, and I resonate with so many of the things brought forth. One of the things that I'm big time resonating is with how last year was about really pulling out my message in a bigger way to a lot more people. And I found myself pushing, like there was this tightness inside of me of wanting to get my message out there, which is helping people know about their inner critic and get it out of the way so that we can really shine as we're talking about. But I was noticing that I was working so hard to do it right. Yes, I was doing it. Yes, I was moving forward and creating, but at the same time, I was feeling tense and tight and stressed. And so my big celebration is really sinking into the unfolding of just allowing it to unhappen. I mean, I was doing my inner work all the way through, and as the year went on, it just, you know, I remembered why I was doing this. I remembered that there's a reason that I want to spread this message, which is to help people. Like, I think it was Audra, yes, Audra, when you were talking about your celebration as being, oh, it's just letting go of the stuff from your dad. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's life-changing. You know, so to remember why I do this is to help lower the voices inside people's heads so that they can really manifest in their life. But here I was having the old tapes going on saying, do it right, do it right, do it right. And so as the year went on, I just calmed down. And then, of course, as I calmed down, everything started to flourish. And I'm just really grateful for the reach I'm now having and how many people I'm touching. So it's a great celebration. Thank you.
Really awesome. And what about you, Tommy? What are you celebrating today?
Me, I'm celebrating what Junie just said. And that's rockin' sweet. The whole thing, Junie, right, about pushing. I did that 2 years ago. I pushed, and it was this business we're in isn't about pushing.
Yeah.
it's about allowing, because the pushing is a mental action, right? Of thinking we have to do something and thinking we have to go in a certain direction and thinking we have to get there by a certain time.
Right.
And it's a control function, right? And what we're teaching people is how to relax from controlling, how to relax from pushing, how to relax from overthinking, and to get more into the innate ability of ourselves as spiritual human beings to feel and to sense and to trust and to, you know, communicate and to be with each other in this world together. And so you just brought it right to light. And as we're doing this, something I keep asking myself every day is, how do I make a living doing what I love to do?
Mm-hmm. And
that it's a slippery slope, because that puts us back into this pushing and setting deadlines and scheduling, and then it's almost like, well, you have to have, I don't know how to walk that balance yet. And maybe that's something that some of you who are better at balancing can help us with and teach us about. Thanks for sharing that.
So that was a beautiful teaching moment, Tommy. Thank you for that. And you've had a year to kind of, you know, do some stuff. I want to hear what you are celebrating that you have achieved over the year. What is it that you really want to celebrate for the last year?
So I'm going to say about maybe nine years ago or so now, I woke up one morning and I had a dream in the night. And it was, I couldn't explain what the dream was, but something powerful had happened in my sleep. And I just knew something had changed in me. And I asked, I'm like, okay, so what was that dream about? Like, maybe I'll remember it. And it was a Saturday, so I was at home. And about noon, the answer to my dream came to me. And I actually just fell to my knees and I just started sobbing. And I realized that there was a woman in my dream. And she was a black woman and a very powerful presence. And she was just really close to my face. And what came to me was, it was an energy of like Rosa Parks. And she was saying, Tommy, it's time to take your proper seat on the bus. Stop sitting behind the line. And it was a message to my spirit, to my soul, to myself, because I'm always feeling like I can't talk about this. I can't expose this. Everyone will think I'm nuts. What? I put my mind aside and I speak through my heart. Oh my gosh, talk about, you know, needing somebody's approval or being afraid of having somebody's approval. That just crushed me. And so that's what I've been working on for the last however many years. And this show, David, thanks to you saying, Tommy, we're going to do the show. I'm like, okay, what? That means I have to talk about this in public. What are you, fucking nuts? and 51 times later, David, thank you, I'm feeling very free and confident to speak my heart, to speak my soul, to speak spiritual mumbo-jumbo and make sense of it. Because that's what people need. That's what they want. That's what we're here to do. And it's fucking time to get on with it and to do it. Yeah. Sorry if anybody's offended by the F word there. But so that's what I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating, David, you inviting me to do this. The Soul Talk guys just talking about Soul Talk. And look at all these wonderful people that are around us, sharing the same thing, the same feelings, the same connections. That's what I'm celebrating. And you know what I let go of? I let go of that fear of just being me.
Yeah, great. Wow. Well, thank you for that, Tommy. I really appreciate it. It's. Oh, I'm sorry. Did somebody else have something?
I just said wow, but I'm going to just say, if we could all take that message of taking our seat, the rightful seat on the bus in our life. I mean, if we all just really stepped into who we are fully without all that mumbo jumbo stuff, what a world we would have. I mean, that's what this is about, and that was just so touching. I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing, and you guys have created this space for all of us.
Yeah, well, thank you. I know for me personally, some of you know the journey I've been on. Maybe all of you know a part of it. You know, I was doing the whole messenger network thing, going through that process, trying to figure out what my message is, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure my son Kevin and my other kids really know the kind of jibber jabber that's been going on in my head and keeping me from fully showing up. So this year has been, what I want to celebrate is just finally just drawing a line in the sand and said, that is the path I'm going to take. I don't know what it's going to create, but it feels like the right thing to do. And just, you know, putting stuff out there and seeing what happens. And noticing the responses I'm getting. It just, every response I get from people is just another affirmation that this is the right path. Am I making money yet? No, but that's going to take care of itself. I trust it, you know. And so I'm just feeling a lot of love and warmth and gratitude, and just I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing it. I want to keep bringing this kind of wisdom. I want to keep bringing people like you guys together into a circle. I mean, when I listen to what you guys say, it warms my heart. And the beauty of it is we're doing this from all over the world. We got somebody from Canada, we got somebody from the UK, and we got some people from all across the US. I mean, this is freaking amazing. I love it. And I love you guys. I really do. I mean, I feel my heart opening up to you. So thank you for being here. All right, enough of the mushy stuff.
David, it's all about mush.
Never have too much mush.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Tommy?
It's all about the mush, man. That's what we're talking about.
That's right. I mush you very much.
Yeah, you guys should do
in here.
What's that, Kevin?
you should do a show on that theme. It's all about the mush.
It's all about the mush. All right.
Write that down, Tommy.
Got it, man.
I thought it was all about the bass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We get somebody to do a video and put the word mush in for bass. That would be hilarious. Yeah, I wonder if we can get that girl to do it. What's her name? The one who did that song?
I don't know who.
Oh, that's me.
All about that much. About that
Wait,
much.
but we'll put it out there, man. But hey,
Yeah.
David, I want to come back to something you said too. That I find, and you said something about focus and focusing on one thing, and I actually struggle with that because I know that what we're bringing to the planet can help so many people in so many different ways that sometimes my head explodes in all different directions, thinking about all the ways we could implement this, or all the ways we could share this, all the people could help, and that actually detracts me from focusing on and picking and just moving in one direction. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced that or has, managed to kind of focus in, but I would love to hear some thoughts or advice on that.
Actually, I think I'd like to call on Chris because Chris is very much focused on the whole purpose thing. He might be able to help us with that.
Putting me on the spot, I like it, David. Yeah, it's so interesting because I think part of what happens in our culture is this idea of specialization is better, and that I must focus to somehow be better or have a better impact or more impact. And it's so funny, Tommy, because I don't know where I fall out on this. I think that sometimes when I have more clarity in a specific direction, I feel like I have more impact, but then at sometimes I'm missing other opportunities that might pull me in a direction where that's more along my sort of purpose path, or more something that's more where I'm giving my gifts in a bigger way. So I've seen a real mix of this where somebody will be very focused, this is where I'm going, and they may be hitting walls, getting messages, this isn't necessarily the right way, and so I see it much more as a fluid sense that I can focus now and see where the energy takes me until it shifts me. And for some people, that happens literally every couple months or every year until there's some trajectory that feels right for a period of time. and it's always fluid. I mean, even when somebody has a clear focus and a direction and energy for a year or 2 or 3, I've seen them completely shift gears, change direction, go in a different direction. So the way I'm holding it is right now I have a sense of the unfolding of my purpose and how I'm delivering it, and I'm constantly evolving it. I'm always looking at what am I being called forth now? What is the message that I'm receiving from outside and from inside as a way of shifting and changing and growing, and just like you guys did with Life Matters TV and where that came out of and what that might open you up to. So I really caution people to not be too dogmatic and too focused mentally with this is the thing that I've now defined, this is the structure, and I'm rolling forever in that direction. Because we can get too solidified, too calcified around our own mental construct of I need to know it, focus, and go, and that limits. I think that limits people.
Yeah. Thanks, and I'm watching your hands and your body language, and you're just explaining it so clearly to me. You're doing this. That's in the flow, and that I'm feeling the flow, and I'm feeling listen to your intuition, follow the leads, see follow the trail, follow the clues that you get. Yes. And I that feels right. That feels right, as opposed to picking and running in one place where you kind of feel like you're walled in and you're going down a hallway.
Yeah, and if that focus, Tommy, if that focus feels right, and all of the sort of energy, the pull, the sort of you could call it sort of a destiny energy or a destiny line. If that feels strong, then stay with it, right? But we need to keep looking at the breadcrumbs and the signs and the symbols along the way to say, whoops, nope, I think it needs to kind of go here and go here. And so neither is right or wrong. I mean, sometimes that going right into that beautiful sense of focus is good. It's just watching then when I get too structured in my mind that it needs to be that way, right? That it should stay that way. And so and I think the fun of life for me is when it does take you down this other, like, why am I going over here? And it's fun, it's exploration, it's curiosity, it's a joy of the heart. And so I'm sure that we all on this call kind of have a sense of what that's like to kind of move and shift, and so it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think for me personally, what I notice is that I think it's possible to have a clear sense of purpose. And then as you start venturing out in a particular direction, you can feel into that purpose and say, am I really on purpose here? And you can say, oh, maybe not quite. Maybe I need to take that slight shift to get back on purpose. And I think that's what you're talking about here. I think you're talking about constantly doing, it's the feedback mechanism. You're constantly looking at your monitors and and your instruments and saying, oh, I'm a little off course here. I think I need to shift back. Mm-hmm. And when you think about something like an airplane, an airplane that goes from Los Angeles to New York is off course about 99.999% of the time, and yet somehow it still manages to get there. How is that possible?
Yeah.
And that's like us. We're constantly doing that feedback mechanism and just continually correcting ourselves. But the real question I would ask, and I'm going to put this to Audra. How do you stay flexible in that place while still being connected to your purpose?
Well, I think you have to listen to yourself and tune out the noise that surrounds you, because a lot of times we do get caught up in what somebody else is doing or what they're doing, or feeling like we should be somewhere where we're not, instead of just breathing into what feels right in the moment, which is kind of a lot what Chris was talking about, is living in that flow from what feels right in this moment creatively. To me, that's the place that serves me best, is to live from that place of authentic creative flow. What feels good in this moment? What feels right to do? What I'm inspired to do? Versus thinking I have to do this and I got to stay on this, and it's really living in between the two extremes and finding that flow. So I think to me it's mostly just listening to my inner guidance of what feels right to do, what do I feel inspired to do, because typically that's the thing that needs to be revealed.
Well, that's cool. And I'll bet that there's a lot of gratitude that comes into this, and that helps to focus you. Isn't that right, Joanne?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm going to say to that? I think gratitude is just possibly the most important thing we can do, and that contributes to celebration and being grateful for everything, everyone, everything that happens even. I mean, you can be grateful for anything and everything. That it may seem like at first that it's the most awful thing, and yet as you work with it and as you forgive it and as you let it go and as you grow from that experience, you can be grateful for it. It has affected your life. You have learned, you have grown, and you have become a new person, a better person, a greater person, a more loving person. Gratitude, being grateful for everyone and everything in your life now, ever has been in your life, is going to be in your life. Gratitude is the name of the game if you want to really be out there living and celebrating life. Be grateful for everything and every moment. And celebrate every moment.
So much agree, Joanne. Thanks for saying it again, because that's actually our highest vibrational energy gets into the gratitude space. And if you can feel that gratitude, again, everyone's talking feeling. We're feeling, right? This is the shift we're making as human beings. We're going from overthinking human beings, almost like robots, to going back to our sense of feeling and trusting our feelings and our intuition and everything else. And that's the flow. That's all that, to feel right. And gratitude is one of the most amazing ways of practicing feeling. It's such a good feeling that you want to practice it.
Absolutely. If you feel stuck, if you feel in a low place, a bad place, stop and write down some things that you're grateful for. No kidding. Write them down. Or if you can't write them down, just start saying some things. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for. Just start being grateful, and it's amazing what will happen. It'll just change everything, and you won't be in that stuck low place anymore.
Yeah. You know, what I've sometimes tried to do is I think of all the things that I might be pissed off about or upset about, and I try writing down, I am grateful for this thing that's pissing me off, and try to find what it is underneath that's actually the gift for me. That's been a powerful process for me as well.
Great. Certainly has been for me, and I've used it many times. There have been times I've had to do that before I could forgive a situation.
Yeah.
That would lead me into the forgiveness.
Yeah, there's something underneath what you guys are saying. The power in here is transforming adversity, even the hard stuff that we go through, and every one of us here has a story of the hard stuff we've gone through in life. And I've been reflecting on that recently too, and coming to the realization that we all have to have gone through hell in this lifetime.
Yep.
In order to come out of it, in order to turn around and help other people out of it. Because that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to help other people. We've kind of established that we're here to help. We're here to serve others. And if we're just skipping through life happy all the time, it's hard to relate to somebody who's just constantly getting knocked down or constantly struggling or constantly getting beat up, whether physically, emotionally, or mentally. And so we had to have gone through some of that turmoil ourselves in order to be able to help other people out of it.
And sometimes some people, maybe even people who are watching this show right now, some of them may be going through hell in their own way. And so in a way, the way we're showing up, I hope, can help them step more fully out of their hell, and maybe they can see us as the folks that can pull them all the way out. I mean, Sarah, how do you go about helping people? I know you do a lot of amazing sound work, but how do you get people out of their little hell?
I think what you've got to realise is, and I've loved listening to what everybody's saying, but I think what you've got to realise is our life experience is what helps attract the right people to us for them.
Mm-hmm.
And because we can resonate with them and they can resonate with us when we share our story. And we've all been, several of us have been on that training. It's share your story. It is the most powerful thing you can share. And by sharing our story, those people that can resonate with that will come to us. And then, because we are the right person for them at that point in time. So we all work in our own way. We all work differently. But I work personally by helping people to connect with their inner child. to help heal the inner child, the traumas that have happened, etc. But I'm right for some people and not for others. You know, some people enjoy the sound energy, some people don't. It's right for them at that point in time, or it isn't. Like the lady who called me this afternoon, out of the blue, you know, sort of, what, 6 months after I met her. That's the joy, the beauty of what we're here for, is there are so many of us because there are so many people that require the help. And because we've all had slightly different experiences, we are the right person for some people, and the rest of you are right for others. And that's what I love about it. It isn't be jealous about what you do, don't share it with other people, and don't have other people come into your circle who do similar things. It's really just bring other people into your circle, help make everybody available to everybody, because there is, as they say, there is enough for everyone.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Krista, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, as far as helping to support, people, and that's, one thing that all of us have in common is, I know for me, because of when Tommy was saying that we've all gone through our experiences, I work in the field of mental health, so when people are in their deepest, darkest pain, that's usually when they will seek out a mental health care provider, at least historically. Now we have life coaches and other people, like you guys, there's other avenues to that. But I get, the honor to sit with people and be with them and hold the space as they're sharing their deepest pain. It's such a gift. Yeah. And because I'm open to looking at that pain in me, I'm able to be with them and not be afraid of that pain. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the ways that the mental health care system could be improved is there's still this element, I think, of fear of that pain in people. But being able to just be with them and see the beauty and the sacredness and viewing everything as an opportunity, that's also what we're talking about, is our experiences. All of them are an opportunity for us to learn something or see something about ourselves to help our path of growing. Everything happens for a reason, happens for my highest good. So to help support people with seeing that, in that deepest pain, what's the gift? Why has this happened? It's all for a purpose to support our growth. So I love, that's just one of the things that I love about how I spend, every day is with being with people in that kind of moment. It's so sacred.
Kristen, I love the way you honor your time with people, and we've talked about this on separately about being connected, and I want to bring up this idea here because a lot of people have a fear, and you hinted at it, that maybe in the medical field or in a regular psychiatric environment, people are afraid that if they connect with people, that they're going to take on the other person's junk, that they're going to take on the other person's depression, that they're going to take on the other person's heaviness and sadness. And you and I talked, we dispelled that when we talked, because you do that. You practice connection. And you come out of a day of connecting with people who are really in dark places. And I talked to you at the end of the day, and you're like, yeah, another great day, and helping people, and you connected at such a deep level. And then you have people who are in your career field, in the mental health community, who just don't connect because they're afraid of picking up other people's stuff, and they try to think everything through and logically try to analyze everybody and what's going on. And they're the ones who, what happens to them, right? They burn out, they quit, they just can't handle it, they get stressed out, maxed out, So there's something in there too that we have to realize that this connecting, we don't have great words for it. Being heart-centered and being open and being connected, but it's so freaking powerful and it's so real and it's what really does help.
Yeah.
And Kristen, every time we talk, you bring that to me, and every time you say how much you cherish the time you spend with people, you just confirm that.
Yeah. I've been on both sides of this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kristen. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I have my moments of maybe I'm triggered. Maybe something that someone has shared has triggered me. The difference is I know what to do with that energy. I know how to look at it in myself. And I think that's one thing that's missing when people are being in service in the world with others, is to know what to do when a pain has been triggered in me, when maybe I'm like, oh, wait, why am I doing this? Or I'm feeling tired at the end of the day, because then there's something going on in me. And I think that's one thing that all of us support other people with looking at, is that self-awareness. And what do I do with what just came up with me? It isn't the other person. It's they've triggered something in me, and I need to take responsibility, like Audra said, for looking at that. So I just thought I would say that.
Right. I was just going to say that, for me, I've been on both sides of this conversation, and I remember when I first started doing my own personal deep work, the whole idea of opening up myself and letting people see all that shit that was inside me, that scared the hell out of me. I didn't want people to see that stuff. I thought they would hate my guts, they'd never want to have anything to do with me, and all the rest. I mean, that was the story I was making up. But what I discovered, and I've shared this before, what I discovered is people actually drew closer to me, and that just perplexed the hell out of me. Why is that? Why is that happening? And so I realized that they were able to just be with my pain without taking it on, and that made it possible for me then to come into the other side of the conversation and recognize, hey, I'm not going to take it on. I'm, as you say, Kristen, I might be triggered by something, but that's my own stuff, and I own that now, and I've just done enough work that I can recognize the difference. So I think this is something that we have all done on this show. Everyone has done this to some degree or another, where we have learned how to be present to someone else's pain, help them work through it, and then still love them through the entire process. And that's the key word, my friends, is love. I mean, really, that's all it is. It's just loving each other.
So I got somebody here who agrees with you, David.
Who's that?
John Lennon.
Oh, John
Lennon.
Yeah.
He agrees with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And speaking to what you said there, Dad, how before you went through that process, you had this story going on that if you shared that part of yourself, other people would somehow, run away from you or judge you, or see that dark side within you and basically disapprove of you. And a few moments ago, we were kind of talking about that hell, and something that resonates in my own experience is, we tend to want to find a way to get out of it as quickly as possible, but sometimes what we actually need is to go deeper into it, just like dive into that hell and feel it completely, feel it totally. I've had that experience where, for whatever reason, something just happened in my body, and I was able to just kind of let go. The mental process just kind of stopped. And rather than becoming more constricted and trying to figure it all out and think it through and control it, something just kind of broke. And there's this experience, and I think I shared this when I was on with you guys the other week, where my sorrow, my pain just became this incredible gateway to a really deep presence that was... I was just shocked at how connected I felt to myself and to life, and just how much love I suddenly felt after, only moments ago being in just intense emotional agony.
Yeah.
So that's what I would just like to add to that. Sometimes it's not about getting out of the hell; it's about going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, I love your clarity, and you say things so clearly and so simply, and you did it a couple weeks ago too on the show. And so thanks for that. Thanks for your presence, and thanks for stepping up.
Thanks, Tom.
What's underneath, again, what I hear underneath what you're saying too is that as human beings, we don't really know how to deal with our emotions. We've gotten really freaking good at thinking, but dealing with emotions, we're afraid of it because we haven't been taught. I wasn't taught by my parents because they weren't taught by theirs, because they weren't taught by theirs. It's just something that either we forgot about, or something we're just growing into, maybe as a people.
Yeah.
But with the truth there, and Joanne, you'll be right with you, Joanne. The truth there, Kevin, is what you're saying is, if you would just experience your emotions, whether they're good ones or bad ones, there's no such thing as just feeling your emotions.
Yeah.
It's a safe place, and it's a sacred place, and it's a holy place. And thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I often say, in is the only way out. And, I think that's what Kevin just said a moment ago. That's just a phrase that I say quite often. It's a reminder to me that anytime I think I have to escape something, the only way I'm going to get that is by going inside. and I'm going to have to deepen my own experience, go into it, experience it fully, and then when that is done, I can always reconnect to love, if indeed I ever got separated from it. You were going to say something, Joanne?
Yes, I would like to add a little to what I said at the beginning of the show, because I didn't really say what I was wanting to say fully, and it's all come out through everything that's been said here. You know, I started out talking about being married for 48 years, and I want to say that we're celebrating 48 years together because we spent so many years in absolute marriage hell. And we got to where we could go into that and be with it and talk about it and work with it and move beyond and just keep doing that and keep doing that until we could get to the place that we could really be together and love each other and be happy being together. And so when I say we're celebrating 48 years together, we're celebrating 48 years that neither one of us thought was going to happen. Yeah. 48 years together that we just at 15 years I was sure I'd never make it to 20 years of marriage, and so we're really celebrating loving each other at this point. I say I'm almost 72. My mother and her mother's sister all died of cancer, of female problems, and there's cancer rampant in my father's family, but I don't have any, and I haven't gotten any body parts cut off and all of that stupid stuff. And I'm 72. My mother and her mother didn't make it to 65. And I know it's because I've cleared the emotional toxins out of my body. And I can live free and open and love and love life. And because I've gone in and cleared and let it go and let it go and let it go. And my husband at 80 is healthy and happy and mentally and emotionally clear. And it's what we're celebrating life. We're celebrating life. And it's just, it's great at our ages to be celebrating every single day, waking up and saying it's good, and we're happy.
I'm getting that you're grateful.
Oh my God! Yes, grateful. Grateful is the word, right along with celebrating. Grateful, right. Grateful every minute of every day, and life is good, and there's nothing to not be grateful for.
Right.
There's just nothing.
Thank you for that beautiful share, Joanne. As always, your heart just keeps shining through, and I know that you went through a journey just like we all did. Yeah. And I think this is really awesome. I'm loving hearing everybody sharing from their heart and what, the kind of hell that they may have had to go through. And I know, Junie Moon, you've done a lot of work on this stuff too. You've helped a lot of people through your shadow work stuff and so forth. What's your thoughts on this whole topic?
Well, first of all, I'm still just like blown away by what she just shared. I mean, that was just so beautiful about you and the journey with your husband. One of the things you said about your body and your family's history with health and wellness and how good you are and how healthy you are. Thank goodness you have all your body parts. One of the things I find is the biggest tool, the head and the emotions, is our bodies. We're not connecting to how much energy it takes to push down some of the old junk, all the old programming. And I hear that you cleared a lot of that with your husband, with yourself, your journey. And when I work with people, that's one of the first places we go is how is it feeling inside of our bodies? I mean, yesterday I have this hip thing right now that just doesn't seem to be going away. So I'm like, okay, I know it's not structural. What is it? There's something that needs to be cleared. And what I tell people when I work with them is not only track your thoughts about what's getting in your way and what's your fear, but how is it feeling inside? When you were talking about the gratitude, when we're focused on gratitude, my heart melts, my body relaxes. When we're focused on do, go, produce, it's like, So the work I do is that clearing out, and I just really want to honor what you just said, because it really it's right there. The more we clean out, clear out, and relax into this place that we are, the healthier we are, not only in our minds, but in our hearts and our bodies and our relationships. So yeah, so I'm taking it all this stuff from everybody, but the body, you know, the emotions, where is it landing inside of us? How are we truly feeling? Where are we tight? Where are we tense? And to start tracking that, because it's not just our thoughts. The thoughts are creating some really pretty powerful dynamics inside of us, and by going inside, we can release and let that go. I don't know if that made sense, but that's sort of what I'm tracking here and pulling in with all this talking right now.
Jenny, you're being beautifully clear and crystal clear. Thank you.
And what strikes me here is that this gratitude that you ladies are speaking to, it's essentially the same frequency as joy. It's joy.
Yes.
And I've heard it said that joy is the highest state for a human being, and that resonates for me. I think it's just about honoring who we really are and letting that joy flow.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So, folks, we're getting close to the end of our time here, and what I would really like to do at this point, I'm going to ask each one of you to think of something that you'd like to offer our viewers as maybe a gift of wisdom about how they can start leading the next year. What are we going to do to make our next year even more amazing than our past year? And so I'm going to start with Sarah Jane, and then I will move in the opposite direction on the list. Sarah Jane, what do you have to offer?
What I would say to everybody is, you're special. There is no one more or less special than you. Nobody can take the fact away from you, the fact that you are special. Believe it, trust it, because you are. And if you accept how special you are, then you will truly be able to live from your heart rather than from your head.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Sarah Jane.
Everybody take a little breath. We'll make some space for that. And now I'm going to call on Kristen.
For me, what I'd like to share is that the only thing left to do is to love. We've all been talking about all these fears and all these things. We've done all the stuff that isn't, you know, loving from fear. So the only thing left to do is just to love. And I know for me, it's like, okay, I've exhausted all the fear, and I'm just going to do my best to love now. Like, I'm done. I've drawn the line in the sand, and just to love.
Thank you. Junie Moon.
The first thing that comes to mind is the breath, you know, to slow down and to breathe. We're so busy doing, you know, just to come back into the being and to allow the divine download of what's next for us or what's possible for us, and to really just hold our hearts and to breathe into the beauty of the moment and the preciousness of our breath and the connection to everything and everyone around us. Just to take that time, whether it's once a day or, you know, at a certain time of day, but to really slow down and listen, deep listening, and to breathe. And of course the loving, which is what's going to come right there.
Thank you. Joanne, what would you like to offer?
We are each one with God. You are one with God, which means you are love personified. You are perfect because you are God, because you're one with God. You are perfect just the way you are. You are love. You are all that you need to be. Just allow yourself to let that in and be who you are. Who you are is perfect. Love. That's it.
David, I'm going to need Joanne. Thank you so much. David, I have to go. I've got a business meeting I've got to get on. I want to just say real quick, let you guys continue.
Well, Well, make your offer to the group.
Shine on, you crazy diamonds. Peace out.
All right,
See you later.
take care, brother. We'll talk later. So Chris Kyle also dropped off earlier. He had to leave, so I'm going to skip past him and then go to Audra. Audra, what would you like to share in closing?
I would just say take some time to connect to your heart and ask yourself what it is that you really want. There's so much power and clarity, and when we can just let go of all the noise around us and connect to our heart, we can really get clear on what it is that we really want and then start to move from that space. So I would just say take some time and connect to your heart and get clarity for yourself with what it is that you really want for this life of yours.
Thank you, sweet sister. Yeah. And Kevin, what would you like to offer?
What I would offer is just to really honor the outer periphery of the comfort zone, and realize that out beyond those walls where things can be a little dark, a little scary, a little painful, there's tremendous growth and tremendous blessing, and it's nice to come into the inner city sometimes and have those gates, it's nice to feel safe, but yeah, whenever possible, just venture a little further, because there's just a tremendous celebration on the other side of that. Thank you.
Wow. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today and joining me and Tommy and helping us to celebrate 52 episodes of Life Matters TV, bringing some amazing wisdom to people and teachings and learnings and all kinds of beautiful stuff. I love you guys. Really, you're my brothers and my sisters. I care about you a lot, and I really appreciate that we've been building this community, and it's just going to keep growing because we care about each other. So with that said, I'm going to say goodbye to all you guys. I'm going to say goodbye to the viewers. I'm going to say next week we're going to be doing a special episode on taking the next step, and as Tommy calls it, shine on, you crazy diamond. Yeah. So we're going to have fun next week. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye. Namaste.